I was worshiping at Smethwickle Church then, and as I was worshiping for a period of time at that church, some members of the congregation actually came to me and said, have you ever considered ordained ministry? And at that stage, I'd never really sort of put my mind to it. But, so the congregation member, and then soon after, the incumbent then also came to me and said, have you ever considered ordained ministry? After that, it became evident then that probably I should consider ordained ministry.
I don't think I ever decided to pursue ordained ministry. I knew from the age of 5 that Jesus had told me that's what he wanted me to do. I had my own plan. I was going to be ordained when I was 30, and God said that's not such a good idea. So I was ordained at 23, and he knew that I needed to be ordained at the earliest age and give the whole of my life to this ministry.
I think others recognized it before I did. People were saying, you could be a priest. That's right up your street. And I'm thinking, I don't think so. But actually, slowly, more and more, I heard the call in myself saying, yeah, this is the way for you. And I said, yes, okay.
Initially, I wasn't very sure or confident that I would actually hack it as a minister of religion. I mean, before then, I'd not seen many black or ethnic minority clergy in the environment I was living or working or residing. So for me, part of the skepticism was I've never seen as many who look like myself. So I really had lots of doubts. For so many years, I was doubting myself and doubting my capabilities because I say to myself, how come there are few of us? So, but over time, I realized, God had a unique call for me, and the doubts began to sort of disappear. And now I'm very comfortable in my role.
I knew it was right because it's something that's been constant all of my conscious life. I mean, I don't really remember when I was 5. My father told me I said that to him when I was 5. But I can definitely remember from the age of 7 onwards, I just knew that this was what God wanted for me and that it would be right because it was his will.
In terms of way of training, I went to Westcott House full time. But before then, I had to do the diocesan courses at Queen's. I think I did about 12 of them, and in that, it was more or less for me a way of trying to discern whether this was God's call.
I've been training for a while now. Been deaconing for a little while, and I think I've just come into it at the right time. All the training and all the time spent with congregation has brought me to this point where I'm ready to move on in God's kingdom and fulfill the role he's called me to.
Because I started so young, my training was straight from school. I went to university for 3 years and then did a further year of residential training. Then I was in a first curacy for 3.5 years. I was in a second curacy for 2 years after that. And really, I think what's important about training is it never stops. So I'd be ordained for 38 years this year, and I've been alive on earth for 60 odd years, and all of that is God's training.
I think the gifts and skills for me that has helped me fulfill my vocation is I'm a bit late in life in coming to ministry. My work life, my family life, and all the other things that have contributed to making me who I am. My parents has given me the skills to integrate with people, work with people. I work with young people with learning disabilities. That's enabled me and given me an understanding of just serving and just enjoying God's people.
If there's anybody there that thinks that God is calling them to ordained ministry, pray about it and read the scriptures, because that's so important. And look at all those wonderful people, some of them extraordinarily odd and some of them extraordinarily wonderful, that God has called through the years. You don't have to be the same as everybody else.
I think the gospel for me is that we can have some fun, and there's so many solemn faces, and I just want to bring joy into the church, and for me it's a lot of fun.
There's a wonderful place on the Church of England website called Call Waiting. Log on to that, see what that's saying. The ministry division has all sorts of paperwork and other pieces of information, and speak to your local priest and ask her or ask him, what could I do about this? And they will be thrilled.